Hello everyone, my name is Cosmify, and after around a month following the announcement of the Murder Drones comic, it has officially released on Kickstarter, much to the delight of most of the Murder Drones fandom, who did an absolutely phenomenal job at just ripping that $5,000 goal completely apart. Mere hours after it was posted on Glitch's Twitter, it had already achieved a whopping $500,000 in funding. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm very proud to say that I'm one of those people. I still stand by my previous video on the topic where I stated that this is a revival of sorts for the Murder Drone series, so to answer that question in the title, no, I do not believe it's a cash grab. However, with all the support and even neutral reactions surrounding the comic, there have been some pretty negative reactions to it, specifically from one individual that caught my attention. Enter Vanity Moth, one of the more austere MD tubers who has some balanced opinions and some extreme opinions, in my opinion. I'm going to be addressing some of the things he said in his video on the matter, which you should watch and subscribe to him if you want to, and also talking about the comic more in depth with some of the info we have from the Kickstarter. Anyway, the other day, Vanity Moth released a video titled, "The Murder Drones comic is a lazy, uninspired, cash grab." As you may know, this title is grammatically incorrect, therefore it's automatically going to be a bad video. Yeah, no, that, my friends, is called being reductive. It's something Vanity Moth does throughout much of this video, basically saying that because X is true, Y must also automatically be true without any consideration of context, or in this case, without any consideration of what he actually says within the video. Vanity Moth has had triggering titles and thumbnails before, but then provides much better wording in the actual video.
This supposed revival, as everyone is calling it, is less of a brand new era for Murder Drones and more like Glitch parading around the show's decaying corpse like a carrot on a stick so they can milk Murder Drones fans dry for money that they don't even—
Oh, I see. And as you can see from this defensive description and pinned comment of his, he was very clearly anticipating backlash, which, you know, good on you for reading the room. But contrary to most people within his comment section, I did not watch this video wanting to hate it solely based on the title or thumbnail. Truly, if he had made some solid points in a way that one could describe as impartial, I wouldn't really feel the need to make a video addressing some of what he said. However, not only does he make contrarian points, but he also has the audacity to end the video saying he would love to be proven wrong, acting as though half of this video didn't simply consist of Murder Drones comic bad because it's a comic. Not only that, but the thing hasn't even come out yet. In this instance, Vanity seems to lack the understanding that the reactions to his videos would be much more positive if he simply used better wording. Like, you can have your exact same opinion without acting like this. And whether or not he's doing this to intentionally cause backlash, I'm not sure. And the reason I'm saying I'm not sure is because I'm not gonna jump to conclusions. Truly, if the comic is bad when it releases, I will make a video stating that to be the truth, at least to me. And while I may have an opinion that some disagree with, never will I act as though I'm the arbiter of what people should and shouldn't enjoy. And then, in order to dispel any kind of backlash before the video even comes out, state at the end of it that I have better things to do than policing how people spend their money. Oh wait, no, the poor financial decisions of others. So he says he's not inconvenienced by people's financial decisions and then spent a month making a video on it. Alright, buddy. My main issue with this video isn't that it's criticizing the comic, but like I said, it's the way in which he goes about doing it. Half of this video is predicated on the idea that the comic will simply be a retelling, full stop, ends there, nothing else, which we don't know for sure to be the case. But Vanity Moth tends to do this thing where he admits that there are aspects of Glitch's business deals, like with Amazon or like with this comic, that he doesn't know, but then proceeds to be as cynical as possible in his discussion of the unknown aspects of these deals, which then loops back around to acting as though he actually does know exactly what Glitch is doing. All of this being done in order to paint Glitch as a greedy, money-hungry Jeff Bezos burning down the Amazon rainforest company. Why is he doing this? I'm not sure. And he also uses his own personal opinion on comics and graphic novels to prove the point that this is going to be little more than a worse version of the show. His words, not mine. Which I personally find to be one of the dumbest takes in this video. Don't pretend to be objective with the "I'd love to be proven wrong" nonsense when you're spouting stuff like this that is clearly as subjective as possible. Vanity Moth simply cannot wrap his head around the fact that some people, I don't know, enjoy reading comics? He quite literally says that no one can rationalize buying this other than wanting to see a different art style. Comics are a completely different medium of telling a story. Different mediums do different things. Silence can be scarier than sound in some scenarios. Panels can linger longer for dramatic effect in a way that animation cannot. And once again, with drawings, they can convey emotions that 3D animation cannot. Which is the only thing out of all of that that Vanity Moth seems to admit, begrudgingly. But it's all subjective, something he, once again, doesn't seem to understand here. You can't compare apples to oranges and cry that they don't taste the same. Anyway, light lightning round of contradictions really quick because I really need to move on. He says the comic is lazy and unoriginal, but that he would actually buy a DVD release of the original series. He also says he means no disrespect to the authors or illustrators of the comic, while also calling it devoid of creativity, and states that it disrespectfully desecrated the series. It hasn't even come out yet, dude. He complains that the comic is disrespectful to Liam and the original intent of the series, while also saying in almost the same breath that he hopes Liam never works with Glitch again, and that Murder Drone should be a lesson to Liam about how not to write a show, which definitely could have been worded a little more respectfully, right, Vanity Moth? The thumbnail of the video says nobody wanted this, and he uses fans not wanting this in favor of his argument, while then stating at the end of the video that fans will buy whatever they're given just for the sake of having it, no matter how effortless the product is, basically calling fans stupid while also paradoxically trying to use them to build credibility for his argument initially. He says that you can't use the excuse that you're just buying the comic to support Glitch, and then literally 2 sentences later, I kid you not, says, your money's just going to Glitch, not Murder Drones. Like, no shit, if someone's buying it to support Glitch, wouldn't that be the whole point of it? Like, you want it to go to Glitch, right? And he whines about them being funded by Amazon, once again making comments on a business deal he knows barely anything about, and making it very clear that he believes Glitch is therefore no longer indie, despite them not having given up any creative control, which I do disagree with him there, but whatever. I'm not really mad that he's being a hater, I'm just mad that he's putting himself on such a pedestal when he's dressing up his opinions as facts to be disproven, while also doing things like making false dilemmas about how you should support fan projects instead, as if you can't do both things. You can support fan projects and the comic, you don't have to. Anyway, I digress. Of course, like I said, if the comic is bad when it comes out, then I will for sure make a video talking about it, and I still enjoy seeing and sometimes agree with what Vanity Moth has to say. Support him if you do so wish. I am definitely not telling you to not support him. MD tubers stick together, that's how it goes, no matter how much we disagree. As for the comic itself though, I want to once again reiterate that there is a chance, not sure how much of a chance, but there's a chance nonetheless, that this ends up being more than just a retelling of the first season of Murder Drones. I'm fairly confident in this, and the fact that they're hiring a completely different writer dedicated to translating the Murder Drone story into comic format is enough for me to believe that there's going to be at least a few differences. Although it would be cool to see some kind of a sequel, I'm not going to rule that out as a possibility. Like I said in my last video, given the language that Oni Press representatives have been using in references to the Glitch partnership. And although it's totally possible that the #1 issue number label thingy is just some kind of a red herring, or it's just put there for formatting purposes, which is somewhat akin to how Murder Drones was initially advertised as season 1, which implied that there was going to be some distinction to be made between season 1 and other would-be seasons at the time, I do believe that there is a shot that this could be alluding to a sequel comic down the line, which, because the first comic is going to be allegedly covering the entirety of season 1, would have to include extra content that we have never seen before, whether it's a prequel or a sequel. Either way, I'm very glad that Glitch has decided to go through with this. Some may view it as a cash grab, others as a complete waste of time and effort on behalf of everyone, but I'm very happy with my purchasing decision, and I believe that the Murder Drones fandom is as well, even if they don't have enough money to support it. Even though there's, of course, the possibility that this doesn't end up turning into anything sequel-wise, I'm still glad that Glitch has done this because it's going to generate more talk about the show and could introduce new fans to it as well, which I will always love to see. But anyway, that's about it from me. I'm going to go to sleep now. I will be reviewing this when it comes out. Bye-bye.